Smarties. And there are all of two of us hanging out this morning as usual, my faithful Barbara and myself. So we'll just chat and bat the breeze for a little bit here, and then chances are we might get joined by somebody. If not, that's okay. And then we'll get started in a little bit and talk about YouTube, which is, a very prime subject going on lately. And it's a very, very important one that people are starting to hear about, but they're being kind of late joining in and actually engaging and taking advantage of it. So this is something very timely, especially for you, Barbara, because it's going to be coming up soon, and we'll get you involved in video very simplistically, and it won't be very invasive, and it's going to be very inexpensive, and in your case, zero. But the idea is these things can be used very, very cost effectively, and they do not have to be expensive and cost prohibitive. So when people think of video, they think, oh God, I got to hire a videographer with an expensive camera and lights and stuff like that. And although that can be one way it happens, that's not a prerequisite at this day and age. It might be a nice goal if you get to be a good, a corporation with a budget actually to spend thousands of dollars on these things. Oh, good morning, Matthew.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How's it going?
I'm okay. How you doing?
Very, very well, thank you. I was just talking to Barbara here. Barbara, say hi to Matthew, and Matthew to Barbara.
Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Barbara. How you guys? You guys just start?
Yep, we are video recording live and doing this on the fly and just off the cuff, just learning as we go. So
Cool.
mainly we just said good morning to everybody and talked about a little bit about what we were going to be discussing today, and that is YouTube video marketing. And I'm by no means going to get into the extent of it, because when it comes down to it, these are the type of tactics and strategies that you apply to it in general. But we're not going to be getting into the subject matter at all regarding how to record a video, how to write a script for a video, what you should concentrate on, how long, and things like what should your voice sound like, and what should you do with your actual recording. And although I'll give you a couple examples of stuff that I've done and so forth, there are a lot of great samples of things out there, and plus there are a lot of bad samples. But the good thing about it nowadays is that YouTube has kind of opened the field for people to study video quality of a very poor nature through great nature. So it's all acceptable, and you have to be actually pretty bad to be. Oops, we lost Matthew.
Yeah.
He'll be coming back. But anyway, video can be of a pretty mediocre quality and still be of use, but it can be also very high quality and be damaging to what you're trying to achieve. So it's a relatively simple formula, but if you don't really follow a few basic rules, you're going to find yourself in trouble with it. And you'll find yourself wasting a lot of time and maybe a lot of money. So a lot of that is, I sure use the word lot a lot. Anyway, quite a bit of that will be not pertaining to what we're talking about today. Today we're assuming that you've gone to the extent of producing a fairly decent video, and then once you have, we're going right to the, cutting to the quick and saying, this is what you can use the video for, and this is how it can benefit your overall campaign. And a lot of times, in regards to studying online marketing in general, this is what people do. They study this is how to do it. This is the outline, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But they don't take into consideration that there should be some finesse involved and some quality assurance and, some basic Smarty implications. You don't do stupid things, don't say stupid things. And there's also the fact that what we intend to do in marketing is get a certain result. But what we very seldom do is consider how the receiving public, the consumer, or the reader, or the viewer, is going to receive and interpret it, and what they're going to do as a result. So whatever we plan to do is one thing, and we have to be smart. That's why we are called marketing smarties. It isn't about what we plan to do. We have to be aware of what the options are to the recipient and what they're going to be compelled to do. So really, when you do a video, it should be very much geared towards action and response. And it's not just putting something vivid in front of their faces, funny or colorful or artistic or surprising, shocking, whatever. Those are good things to include to get people's attention. But then you want to keep people's attention. You want to build some interest and get them so interested that they will take action. Now, what could that action be? That action might be subscribing to your email list. It might be reading an article that you wanted them to have, downloading a PDF or a white paper, offering them value. If they go someplace and they sign up for your email list, you'll let them download this valuable something or other. Or it might be to watch more videos. It might be to start with your first video and then watch a series of 5 videos or 7 videos or whatever. The one video that we watched last week, I think that was last week, might have been the week before, of Gene Sauer, is the part of a 20-video series. Now, that is one heck of a funnel. And when I say a funnel, we get people hooked on watching stuff, so they gradually watch and watch and watch and get closer and closer and closer to us, get down to the bottom of the funnel, and they got to drop into the trap, so to speak. Or they have to actually become a buyer or a consumer or a customer of ours. They drop into the edge of the funnel and they go, yeah, I'm kind of interested, that sounds good. And so they watch a video or they read something or whatever. And then they drop a little bit lower and the funnel is narrowing closer and closer. So the scheme is to get people more and more convinced that there's only one thing to do: drop through the opening of the funnel and become a consumer. They virtually, when they get through the funnel, they either have to buy or for whatever reason, and people will have their own reasons, they won't say, I can afford to do it. They'll say, not now. By golly, we've lost Matthew again. Now that I really can't explain, but that's okay. Luckily, this is all being recorded, so it might be worth the replay if I don't spaz out here. But anyway, these are all superfluous to the actual goal today. Is not to teach you about video, but to teach you what to do with video in YouTube that will become of value to your campaign. So we're going to go on to that in a few minutes. But first, I'm going to see if we get Matthew back. So how's it going, Barbara?
Oh, pretty good.
Okay, good.
We've had quite a storm.
Yeah, we've had some rain too.
Oh, we set it on down, huh?
Yeah, no doubt. You drew it our way, and it just carried on. So
He's trying.
yeah. Hey, buddy.
There he
Sorry, guys. I'm just having difficulties. You're breaking in and out. I'm trying to get a connection. I just got my new laptop, so I'm trying to.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's the best. So.
Well, the good news, if you want to call it that, is that we are recording this as a hangout, and so if the live reception is not good, there will be a recording of this, and you'll be able to watch it again. And that at least that's something. If we're doing things that are worth listening to, then people can go back and review them and take notes if they want, and then watch what we're doing and so forth like that. So this is fine though. Are you guys ready to take a look at YouTube video marketing?
You're encouraging us to.
Okay. Now, initially, what do you know about YouTube video marketing? What is your impression? Go ahead, Barbara.
I don't know much.
Okay, how about you, Matthew?
YouTube video marketing. Well, I know one thing. People like watching videos more than they like reading things. So
That's probably the most important point.
that's one thing I've encountered. So I think creating videos is probably a really good thing.
Yeah. And so you probably brought up the most important point to all this, is that people would rather watch a video than read an article or paragraph or even look at pictures. They would rather watch video because it's so
Right.
much more telling and informative, and plus it's as personal as you can get without being there with the person. If you cannot, like we're connecting in a video hangout right now, we know that we're live, we're looking at each other, we're talking to each other like we're in the same room.
Right.
If you can't do that, when you record this and somebody's watching it, they'll say, yeah, those guys are live. Okay, it's almost as good as if they were here. And they can say, oh, they're having fun, they're smiling faces, they're acting casual, they're not a bunch of actors and actresses in front of the cameras, and they're not pre-prepared word for word, and it's not a canned speech. So what this is a conversation. And conversations are much more believable than a prepared script. So that's something to remember. When you have a conversation, it seems so valid and relevant and genuine because we are not reading, that's right, Barbara, we blah, 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 and then Barbara comes back to me, yes, Roland, and, and we don't have a prepared script that we're just jousting back and forth and filling in the blanks. We're actually susceptible to your input, Matthew, and other people's input. And, in a way you can consider, well, you're kind of on the line when you go into something like that, because what if people say this or that, or what if they start cussing or whatever? And I honestly don't know, because we want to be genuine. So right now we're not worrying too much about if people flip out or if we get some weird kooky people in here throwing me weird questions. I have yet to learn how to cancel people out of the scenario because I haven't had to. But I'm sure I will have to learn how to do that too. So anyway, let me have a sip of coffee here before my voice messes up on me. Okay, everybody have your cold drink or your coffee or whatever?
I got my notepad.
Oh, you're all set. Okay, well, I'm going to do a screen share here. We're going to start off with YouTube video marketing, and we've covered some of the background and some of the reasoning. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can execute this properly, see what happens. Ta-da! It should be the only thing that you see on your screen is the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties screen. Is that what we've got?
It's part of the screen. I see Matthew and myself down in the bottom corner.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So that should be the primary thing showing. And let me see if...
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I see something now. Well, I think it's just my connection though.
Oh, really? Okay, well that we'll have to do something about someday. Meanwhile, the whole idea with this presentation today is not to take you through a really rigorous lesson on how to do video for YouTube, but to give you an idea what the best things you do, the main things you do not want to miss in YouTube video marketing once you've got your video done. So these are the YouTube video basics. And I'm not going to string it out and add one thing per page, and add another thing per page, another one, and another one. I'm going to give you the whole list, and then we'll talk about the list as we go. And that will be primarily what we're doing here. And there are many more reasons than these, but when we ask why YouTube, we have to consider that there are it's a huge platform. Google Plus and YouTube combined have approximately the number of users that Facebook has. And with video, it has absolutely the most video users. And we've already talked about the idea that the quality of YouTube videos and so forth is so well received now that we really don't have to do better. We can do better, but it almost doesn't make any sense to plan to spend more money when it's not going to be more effective. So although we can start off really, really cheap and we can improve, there are things that we can do right now to be capitalizing 100% on the power of YouTube. So that's what we want to concentrate on. It's a very well accepted platform, so the whole world is watching YouTube videos. And there are very few people who say, "Oh, YouTube, I hate it." Well, there's virtually nothing to hate except for, in some cases, the quality is so bad it makes it kind of hard to watch, or the sound could be bad. But that's not really necessarily a problem with YouTube. YouTube takes away a little bit of the quality, but pretty much maintains most of the integrity, or enough to make the video valid and relevant. So it's pretty good stuff. I mean, especially being free, how can you beat it? Then there's the fact that it's very easy to integrate. I can't think of any place you really cannot use YouTube videos. You can implement it into your website. You can put it on your Facebook page, your Google Plus page, Pinterest, Instagram. All those will accept videos, and they are compatible and completely integrated with the use of YouTube videos. So there's no place that you really can use it. And when you do use it in various places, you are, without getting into this in a complicated fashion, you are planting a link and a connection to come back to your website or come back to your YouTube channel and come back to your resources. And when you do that, you're assisting in the influence on your SEO. In other words, when you create a YouTube video, if you do it right, it's very easy to influence your website ranking, and you could be improving your website ranking just by being on YouTube. And because it's so well accepted, and because video is such a important thing, then Google comes along and says, okay, you're doing a video. We appreciate that. It looks like it's relevant because you did some things to convince me that it's relevant. And so, yeah, we're going to give you more weight in your ranking and your relevance, and you're going to rise up in the search engine results as a result of this. And so you're going to do better in search engines. So ultimately, you're going to do so well on search engines that you want to be on page 1. And we're going to explain exactly why that happens later. So we'll check it out. By golly, this what do you call it? PowerPoint presentation is working perfectly. So there's no lag today. There are a lot of things you can do, but these are the 7, 8 things that are most important when you're developing your YouTube video. And then there are...
Sorry to interrupt. Did you change the slide or?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just not seeing it. That's fine. I'll listen to you and write them down.
No, well, it's all recorded here, so you can always watch the recording.
Right, right.
But let's see if now right now I went back to the one that says why YouTube, the most users, well accepted, easy to integrate, and influence on SEO. And now we're
Okay,
on screen.
I see it.
Okay, now we're on the video strategy page. Now it's just like when you're making a blog in your website or a page. These are very much like some of the things that you apply for standard page SEO for websites. However, video being what it is, there are more things involved. So, first of all, you want to give the file a name, the actual video name, something that involves your keywords. And a lot of times people will say, I'm going to use my keyword and my company name, or keyword and the city I live in, or the county, my keywords and something else that describes how I use these or the value. In other words, the name of the file, although it cannot be long, it's got to be reasonably short. It can contain things that are very, very search engine relevant, and so that's what you want to do. And then after you've got the name of your file, you're going to upload it to YouTube. When you do, you have an opportunity to write what we call a description, and you're going to want to use those same keywords. Now, there's more to just a description in YouTube. You can literally write a 500-word or 1,000-word essay about your subject because, excuse me one second, the more relevant the YouTube thinks that you are, the higher you're going to come up on YouTube ranking. And by the way, because Google is in charge of YouTube and owns YouTube, they determine what's relevant and what's not, and what's most relevant or more relevant or whatever. So while they're doing that, they're doing it for 2 resources, YouTube and Google. You're basically being judged in the same system right there. So that's a power in itself. And they basically say, yep, if you're relative in YouTube, you're relative in Google+. So if you do something to score on YouTube and become really popular, that is automatically going to make you popular on Google+. On Google. Okay, I'm getting way off track. So anyway, you're going to write a description about what the video is about. And initially, you want to make it real clear and concise and maybe a couple hundred characters to really zero in on what's going to show up in the search results and what the people will see when they first bring up the search result of your video. This is what that description wants to fill in. And people will get sometimes the wrong impression and want to write the long version and blah, 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 blah. But it's really critical in the first couple hundred letters, you tell them exactly what the video is all about. This video is about blah, 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 and be done. Just tell them right, short and sweet. How to get the best results from your exterminator for termite control. Period. And then from there you can write an extended description, but we won't get into that here. Now, when you write the description early on, the first thing that you can write is a link to your website. And if your website is named Termite Fumigators, and you're also doing a video about termite fumigation, that's the type of keyword combination that makes the most sense. Not ABC termite fumigators. Forget the ABC, because the ABC is not going to make any difference in the SEO for your subject matter. Nobody knows what ABC is. That's pretty generic. So whatever the name of your company is, that is secondary or tertiary and of not very much importance. But when you're naming your video, when you're naming all of your assets, you concentrate on the keyword first and then the most relevant keyword second, and consider your company name not at all. Generally speaking, not at all. So when you're writing your description, don't forget to put a link to your website. And then in YouTube, they give you the opportunity to add what are called keywords, tags. So you have a keyword tag set when they have this little section and they say tags. And basically what you're doing is you're tagging your website with keywords that other people are going to use to search you and find relevance and so forth. So when you indicate a tag set, basically saying when people search these keywords, this resource should come up. You should show my video if people are looking for these keywords. So the keyword tags can be an extension of just your keywords and be relevant things, what people search for, action statements, and things like that. How people use those keywords in a sentence. Relevant keywords that are associated with your subject but are not technically your keywords. And we'll discuss those more in detail in the future, but right now we're just talking about a few things. And in normal SEO, people got to doing this thing that is basically considered black hat programming, and it's called keyword stuffing. Now, that involves when you have a website, you might do things like write your description and say, we are a termite fumigator, and fumigating is a rough business, and when you're fumigating in Southern California, you really want to use us, blah, 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 termite fumigators, because termite fumigator, blah, 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 fumigators, blah, blah, fumigators, fumigators, fumigators. They're stuffing the keyword fumigators. So basically Google and YouTube and all these people hate keyword stuffing. It's like at one time about 20 years ago, you could put the keyword repeatedly, keyword, 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 fumigator, 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 and connect them with commas and put them in white lettering on a white page so you couldn't see it. And that alone would make your web page come up page 1 search result for fumigator.
Yeah.
And they said, well, no, but that's not relevant. And then because they'd go to the page and the page would be about something completely off the wall, and not related to the problem of needing a fumigator, but maybe it would be about well, so I can't even imagine, but it would be irrelevant or less relevant, or it would be a horrible business. Maybe it would be a really bad fumigation business, and maybe it would have nothing but bad reviews. But in those days, the reviews would not come up along with the results for companies. The reviews were much harder to find. So if people didn't see the negative reviews, all they would get is this page that came up, and if they didn't know it was a bad company, they might click on it and go, just because he was on page one. So Google said, no, we got to screen these people a little better and make sure they really deserve to be here. And that's what all these panda, penguin, and hummingbird updates are to the Google search, to make them more relevant and to make these people do their job and do their due diligence. First of all, to have a good business, and then second of all, to represent it properly for search results. So, it all boils back down to this. If you're going to have a good business, let's start off with good products and good services, and then worry about marketing. And back then, black hat marketing or illegal marketing was basically, I don't care how good your business is. All you want to do is hire me so you get traffic, so you get sales. That's right. And so they'd go to work on the market and they'd find, wow, we could do black hat programming and make money when we really don't deserve it. Oh, well, that's okay. Let's make the money. And they focus on the programming, but they forget to focus on the quality of their products and services. So everything that we do here, we like to focus on that first, quality of products and services. So although there's those open spaces like keyword set and the description and so forth, there's also the advanced settings, and these are things that you have to basically work into your description and various things. And there are a few little assignments in YouTube. You have to remember to specify the upload date. And I don't know if you've seen this or not. Well, when you go to YouTube, I often look to see when the video was uploaded because I want to know how relevant it is. If it came up 2 years ago, I might start looking around for something more recent. And nowadays, as things change so much, the most relevant and the most recent information to me is the best. So you want to put the upload date and so forth, and you want to update it from time to time, and there are ways to do that, but that comes with more advanced lessons on YouTube videos. But mainly you want to make sure that you date it, talk about a location so it's relevant to locate the local area that you reside in and you do business in. And those things are going to actually help the search results bring you up in relevant search. Now, custom thumbnails. No doubt when we post these videos like what we're doing today, it's just going to take some random shot of me or whoever's on the screen at the time and put that in the video to show what's going on, or supposedly the random shot. But literally, if I wanted to take this screen that we're seeing right now with SEO strategy video and the YouTube marker and this stuff, I could make that the first frame of what people see as a thumbnail before they watch the video. So the advantage of that is that the slide or the frame that comes up automatically is probably going to be a picture of me with my headset on, just kind of sitting there. And eventually that might become something of my branding. They might see that and say, oh, that's another one of Roland's broadcasts. but I might not want to do that. I might want to brand more directly or make it visible. I might want to make this blue background visible and be the thing that everybody sees and says, "Oh, there's Roland's video." Or they might see a string of videos, some of which are mine, and go, "That one's Roland, and that one's Roland's, and that one's Roland's," because they've got the blue background. So it's all part of your branding and your recognition, making it easier for people to find you.
So, Roland, don't mean to cut you off. You can actually create a little thumbnail that's essentially the background of your video before someone clicks it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. So you can
And
put your company name or something, your logo, whatever.
yeah. Let me see if I can give you some couple of examples of that with while we're talking about it. It'll just take me a minute. And these are the type of things that I could be preparing in advance to really keep our action moving. But since we're not on so radical a timeline, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay. So let me switch screens for just a second. And I'll show you what I did for one client. So this is a client that does, oh yeah, solar energy. So you got the solar panels there, got the guy sitting on a mountain of money. Can you see that okay?
Yeah.
The truth about solar and saving. Okay. Hang on a second. Well, there's no in between. The main thing is this. Let's go back to the first. Let me refresh this. Okay, so the very first scene there is a little imaginary man sitting on coins, like like he owns this money, and the solar panels there, and own your own in 5 years. And the impression is that I want to give people the idea that they could buy their solar panels, save a lot of money to keep it in the bank, and own their own system in 5 years. So that's something that it's actually one of the frames in the video, and then I selected it and made that the thumbnail that's being used. However, I have the option of designing something in Photoshop and completely uploading the one frame and then interjecting that instead and using that as the thumbnail.
That's like the opening page of the video then?
Right. And before you click it, and once you click it, of course it all changes. How you save a lot more money and own your entire system in 5 years. So that's the frame I used. There's his branding. Okay, so we might watch that video later, but it's not really all that important. So let's go back to our PowerPoint. Whoops. So here we are. We were basically talking about the custom thumbnails and branding and getting attention. Once you've got attention, people will click on the video and then watch the whole thing. Hopefully, watch the whole thing. There's another thing called annotations. And annotations are basically little text words that you can integrate into the video to emphasize what is being talked about. And if you say a keyword, sometimes you want to use annotations to actually create an expression of the keyword, write it down and put it right in the video, and then that way when the person's talking about it and the words pop up on the screen, that's the best absorption of knowledge that you can do with video. When you're speaking the words, some people are audible or auditory in nature, and whatever they hear they'll remember forever. Yet some people are visual. So if you encompass something and go, I'm both auditory, and visual here, people are going to get a double dose of the branding or the conveyance of information, and that's going to increase the retention of what you're trying to convey. So in videos, I've got some videos that are nothing but text and a voice. Now that's pretty good. That's called a VSL, or a video sales letter. And the purpose of that is so that you can convey a rather long message and yet have the whole thing written out in text so that people are reading it as well as hearing it at the same time. So that's pretty good. But what I've found is the best is to not post every word, but to post like certain sets of keywords or the most important parts of the discussion or bullet points, and then let the vocal part, let the vocal oration go, and be descriptive, and then also use pictures to emphasize people should be thinking or to draw a better picture, because words are one thing, a picture is worth 1,000 words, they say. So if you choose the right picture, it's worth even more than all the words being written out. And then what you do is you make sure you write the words that are key into the video itself. So that's adding annotations, so you can highlight keywords and bullet points and lists and stuff like that. And then the other thing in SEO for YouTube videos that so many people miss, and that includes the guy I talk about quite often, Gene Sauer, the one who had a 20 video funnel that he designed, and that he's actually very, very good at SEO. But when it comes to YouTube, he never even mentioned this thing called a transcription. And then some people call it caption editing. But what it is really is the transcription editing. So anyway, when you upload a video to YouTube, there's a process going on, and it takes a few minutes, maybe anywhere from 2 or 3 minutes to 10 minutes, and then it says complete, and then it says, yep, your video is ready and can be found here. And what they're indicating when they do that is they say, we've analyzed your video, we've mechanically listened to your dialogue, and we've made what we consider a transcription of your dialogue, and we posted that into your listing, and it's all part of your listing. And we're going to use this transcription to categorize your video. And you think, oh, well, great, that's great. There's a really huge problem with the transcription. And there's a really huge problem with letting YouTube do its own thing and not paying attention to it. Because, I don't know, have you ever used vocal transcription software, like talked into your phone to leave a text message or something like that? Have you ever used that stuff? Or like Dragon Speak?
I've left a message somewhere on the phone and saw what they saw. They printed it out when they sent me an email back.
Right.
And I mean, the words were out there.
Yeah, and that is because different people have different speech inflections. And so the software is taught to analyze the sounds and do what they can to assume what you're saying. But they are so wrong so much of the time that the keyword elements of what you were trying to convey when we're doing SEO for our videos and our pages and stuff, it can be so far off that that video will never come up in the search under your keywords. Now, it may not be that bad, but anything less than perfect is not good. So what we've discovered is that you can access that transcription from the moment that YouTube says, okay, here you are, you're ready to go. You should immediately be digging into the transcription, editing the transcription, re-uploading the finished product, or making a copy of the accurate transcription that says the appropriately translated the keywords and discussion and subject, so that it really corresponds to what you actually said, that you spent maybe a couple of days writing in your script writing, and make it really, really accurate. Along with that, you can add to the transcription a URL pertaining to the resource that you're referring to. So you can list your website in there real quickly, and they will allow that. So there are things that we can do to enhance the transcription beyond what the auditory capture alone represents, so we can actually make it better. But if you don't do the transcription editing, you're missing the wagon, a big, big miss. So these are things that if you do all these things accurately, it's going to make your video very properly designed to be acceptable by YouTube and to benefit you pretty much the best you can benefit for SEO purposes and relevance and ranking in your Google search. But now we get into the idea that, okay, well, there's tools that we can use for ranking. That's all good and well. Is there anything more that we can do, and how does it influence? And basically, there are things around those tools that you have to remember you have to do. You're basically doing a post in YouTube. You're putting a video up on screen, but also it's creating a post, a link to that video, which allows people to share you in various social media, and you can implement various things to circle, to follow, to subscribe, and like right there with your video. And then also, which I didn't write into these notes here, but it's a big one, you might also place in part of the dialogue the offer and the suggestion to please share this video with all your friends, or share this video with people you think who could really use the information, or if you think this is really good content, share this with everybody you know. And that action of encouraging people to share, you might think, well, that's obvious, people will share it, but they may not. And if you make the suggestion, they're much more likely to share. So a little bit of request to help us out goes a long way. So we have to remember to ask for likes, ask for add me to your circles and whatnot, and most certainly ask people to share.
Can you use the little share buttons on the videos or not?
Yep. Well, there are a couple places. First of all, there are ways to embed the share opportunity right in the video, the same way we do a link to your website and so forth. And you can have a share button pop up, and a set of share buttons pop up. So if you wow, it must be 12 o'clock. So I'm wondering, was that something at Barbara's house or Matthew's house?
It's mine, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It was just a guessing game. I couldn't tell by looking at your faces.
I'm guilty.
Pretty good poker, man. Hey, do you play poker? Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, so let's not forget the share strategies, which are just huge. And in both cases, subscribe, follow, like, circle, and share. All of it's the same. We should be asking people to do it. And then, of course, we've got the video uploaded to YouTube. And as we said earlier, YouTube videos are compatible with every format that I know of. And we should be embedding in our website. We should be sending posts in Google Plus that contain the video embedded in the post. We have a video gallery in Google Plus that we should be including our videos in there. And virtually all social media should be putting our posts in Facebook or Instagram or Pinterest and whatnot, and including various things leading to our YouTube video. Now, we start getting the picture of links going every which way like a spider web. But I want to clarify something. I'm very much a proponent of building a following in all my social media, and the following should not just be a following in Facebook, a separate following in Google Plus, separate following in LinkedIn, and whatnot. Your following should all end up at your website. Excuse me. Now, the problem with this for most people is that once people get to their website, there's not a place to comment or carry on any kind of a conversation. So really, they'd rather be in Facebook where they could say something and get a response and say something else and get a response like that. But the thing is, Facebook's all casual, but if somebody is interested in your subject, they should be able to carry on a conversation in your website. So that could be a string of comments after a post. That could be them sending you messages through your what do you call it? Submission forms, contact forms, stuff like that. And even starting by exchanging emails directly to you if they want. But the value of exchanging comments is that other people can see what's being said, and that this builds not just one-on-one conversations, but public conversations. And when you do that, you start building a community. So the thing about all of these places that you can place your website and your YouTube information.
nope.
Pardon me?
Gosh.
Well, at the moment your picture's frozen. I guess it's hang on a second. Probably an ongoing problem with Matthew's connection there.
Yeah.
So we might have lost him. But anyway, part of the issue with all these different resources, Google Plus, Facebook, and so forth, is that they are not the place you want people to go and stay. You want them to go to your website. Now, as a secondary value, if they're integrated with your website with your Google Plus account, and you carry on conversations on a Google Plus business page, now that's a whole different thing, because it seems more neutral and people will go to your business page, carry on a conversation, get involved in a chat exchange, and so forth. And that will leave a lot of statements within your community that will become public knowledge. So that's the kind of conversation that you want to build, not going to Facebook in general or your Facebook general page like your user page and your personal page, but you want the conversation being in your home front that describes your business and that it evolves around your business. And that's the best community to have. So, and that's why I like Google Plus. So anyway, the objective of all those various social medias is to drive people to your website and your conversation zones, namely Google Plus, YouTube, and have people involved in the conversation that revolves around your keywords and your subject in your company. And then the reason, of course, that we are planning all these things and offering like special giveaways or connections or so forth is to give people the reason to apply for your newsletter update and to apply for your newsletter, your email list. Because when they're on your email list, you don't have to wait for people to come to you. You don't have to wait for them to look at their Facebook. You can plan a campaign and email the people directly. See, emailing is where all of a sudden you are in control. You initiate the date, you send it, you tell them what's up, you give the offer of value, you make the deadlines, you give them the reason to click on links, the destination to read a blog or to cash in on a freebie or whatever it is. But you're in control of that. So the newsletter becomes the PowerPoint along with everything else. The newsletter is what prompts people and gets them to come back and read more blogs and keeps them involved. So eventually, you'll have all this going on, but you'll probably blog once a week and also mail email newsletters once a week. And that's the ultimate premium. Now, some people do it every day, and I think that's a little invasive.
It's a full-time job right there, for sure.
Well, it can be, yeah, absolutely. That's why you want to start off by having a good product or service in some kind of a business that you really love, because otherwise it's not sustainable.
Right.
So I'm moving on to basically just about the last page in the PowerPoint. What does this result in? What are your goals for all this work in YouTube? Well, in combination with what you do with your website and within Google+, you want to generate page one search results. And that means getting your videos on page one of videos of YouTube, getting your videos on page one of Google, getting your website on page one of Google, and getting your posts on page one of Google. Now, before you have page one search results, one way to get them almost immediately is to take your video that's well SEO'd and post it in your website and do the embedded into the page video, but then also post it to your your Google Plus account, and just write a little short excerpt about the video, tell them what that is, and invite people to watch it, and post it in your timeline. And now that post in your timeline shows up as a separate entity represented in Google. Now, let me clarify what that is. If I search termite fumigators and I go to Google, I'll get 1,000,000 and something search results. But near the top, we'll have some paid search results, and then just below that, we'll have some natural search results. And because you're using video, because it's in social media, which is regarded heavily for opinions of people and reviews, and because the video itself that's being featured is also in your Google Gallery and also in your website and also, of course, in YouTube. That's the trifecta. That's the tripod that gets you Google search results. And what happens is the post itself shows up in those first 3 or 4 results. Whether your website is even close, whether your YouTube video is scoring or not, the post in Google Plus is going to show up on Google. Now the value of that is that an advertisement on the same page is not as well liked because an advertisement is considered company propaganda. But a social media post is considered an opinion of somebody who is offering their opinion on their review or something on something that they like. So right off the bat, people would rather click on the social media post than an ad. Furthermore, if it's a choice between a video, a picture, and straight text, people are going to click the video. So right now, Google, the search engine, says, okay, the guy's got a video, he's got a website, he's got a Google Plus account, he's doing everything right, let's put him up on page 1. So your post that you just posted like 30 minutes ago suddenly is on page 1 of Google. And to my knowledge, there's no faster way to get page 1 search results of any kind. Okay, now the next subject here, and then we're almost wrapped up. Video can be both good lead capture and conversion capture. Now, first of all, what is a lead and what is a conversion? What do you guys think?
Well, the lead is the offer you put out, and the conversion is if they buy, isn't that? Or sign up for, or whatever.
Basically, that's it. So lead capture is any time people will say, okay, I'm into the conversation, here's my email address, and I'll let you contact me back if it's pertinent. And then they always have the option to unsubscribe if they just can't stand your pitches. But anyway, lead capture is when someone says, yes, I'm interested, I want to know more, so here's how to contact me so I can learn more. Now that's a lead. People who are just looking at it and reading it and not doing anything as a result, those are not leads. They're wannabe leads, or they're resources that can turn into leads, but it's not a lead until they actually opt in and say, yes, contact me, I want to know more. And then a conversion, of course, is when they finally put the money down, or it's not necessarily just a buy, but they say yes. So that means maybe the conversion is just getting their lead, getting their email so you can continue to pound them with emails. But at any rate, that is considered partially a conversion. Most people say conversion and they think, oh yeah, it's got to be a sale. And if it's not a conversion, it's not a sale. But there are basically steps and stages to conversion, and the first one is to get people on your team, on your side, and listening to you. So that's the most important conversion there is. And if we design the funnel, that is the series of contact after that first conversion, properly, then they will be led to a point where it says, by golly, I just got to have this product or I have to buy. And then that's the ultimate complete conversion. But the videos can be used as, like, here's a good example. The videos that I was showing you earlier are meant to generate leads or to get people to go to your website. So once they go to the website, what do they see? The thing that they love to see is another video that does something like this. They get to the website, and it's like, thank you for coming to our website. I really appreciate you coming. You've clicked this button. You've come here because you're interested in such and such. And now we're going to deliver it to you now. So thank you very much. And that simple little video that thanks them for showing up is the encouragement that most people need to actually make a conversion, to actually contact you, submit their email to you, or whatever. So it's not just a video on YouTube. It's like designing a series of things so that the first video gets them to go to your website. The second video is in your web page, thanking them for coming and to let them know, yep, you're in the right place. Now we're going to give you what we promised. And that discussion, as much as it's not an actual live discussion, is as personal you can get without being a live phone. And then my last statement there is kind of a personal thing, really, because I've been having an ongoing conversation with this gentleman named Doug, and that could get me into a lot of trouble if he eventually figures out that I'm talking to him. I mean, talking about him in my Google Hangout, Marketing Smarties Hangout. But Doug preaches a type of marketing that is very outbound in nature. When I say that, he's not interested in social media for exchange of statements and conversation or building a community. He just wants the lead. And then from the lead, it's like, now we're going to go into attack mode and we're going to make a sale. And he's so good at it that he has pretty high statistics, and people hire him to do this. So he has very little use for social media other than generating a lead to go after the kill. And so he really doesn't interact with people at all. He just plants ads in social media, makes little offers to get people to nibble on his bite, and then after that, he and the companies that he works with have no use for social media. And so that just completely loses me, and I don't understand it. But that's
Well,
his. Yes.
it is. I know I read something on LinkedIn, I think it was yesterday, and the fellow called it guerrilla marketing. Is that this type of thing?
Yes and no, because one of my favorite marketers is, his name is Maurice, and Maurice calls himself a guerrilla marketer, but he's one of the nicest guerrilla marketers I've ever met, and he really, really believes in building a community, and that is, in fact, his method of guerrilla marketing. Because guerrilla marketing is kind of like muscle-bound force the guy to be involved. But the difference in his guerrilla marketing is he's forcing people to not want to be anywhere but to be involved. That's his form of guerrilla marketing. It's like, we're going to create a product that's so irresistible they have to be there. Then we're going to create a conversation that's so irresistible that people have to be involved. And if you're listening or watching or participating, it's overwhelming because obviously the product and service is the best, and this guy knows what he's talking about, and I could join in if I want, but the bottom line is I got to have this product. And so that's his form of guerrilla marketing, as I understand it. And actually, we're going to have Maurice come on with us in about a month and talk to us. So I'm hoping I get a dozen or more people who will be partially in the panel and then also in the listening audience, so that we can make our time worth something to Maurice.
So guerrilla marketing could be soft sell or hard sell. Is
Yeah.
that kind of
Let me see if I can clarify that. I don't think it's as cut and dry as hard sell or soft sell. I think Martin Luther King was a hard sell with a soft sell subject. Um, he was impassioned and empowered about completely overwhelming the world with peace.
Mhm.
Yet other people are like guerrilla marketing, whereas their subject of what they're standing for is not near as eloquent as something like peace. But they're out there hammering it away. Gotta buy it now. Gotta buy it now. This is a cheap thing. You've got to get in on this deal because it won't last. And
Yeah.
you know, a, a different form of guerrilla marketing, making people basically feel that if they don't do it now, let me see what I've got here. Yeah, I'm
Hey,
basically done with that.
hey guys, roll, Barbara. I gotta excuse myself. I've gotta go take my mom somewhere. So,
Okay, dude, thank you for participating and joining us for when you
hey
could.
man,
And
thanks for the good notes. I wrote all of them down.
that's fine. And this video will be available so you can always go through, watch the video, and pause, frame it so that you can copy them all, write out, and review what we did today, verbatim, so you can access that whenever you want. It'll
Okay,
be
hey,
available.
so
I'll send the link to everybody.
yeah,
So thank you, Matthew. Matthew, have a good day, huh?
okay. You take care. Take care, Barbara.
Bye, Martha, Matthew. See you next time.
Okay, see you guys.
So
Okay.
guerrilla marketing is a pretty broad. I mean, it could be inbound or outbound, depending how you use it. Then,
That is my opinion. Let's
yeah.
see what Google says. Let's take a look for just a second. Okay. Okay. So bear with me just a second, and then we'll read what it says in Wikipedia. Guerrilla marketing. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Guerrilla marketing was originally a marketing strategy in which low-cost, unconventional means, including the use of graffiti, sticker bombing, flyer posting, were used in generally localized fashion to draw attention to an idea, product, or service. So really, I was describing a fairly intangible nature of guerrilla marketing. Today, guerrilla marketing may also include promotion through a network of individuals, groups, or organizations working to popularize a product or idea by use of strategies such as flash mobs, viral marketing campaigns, or internet marketing. So, guerrilla marketing is basically knowing how to leverage people and get your word out.
Huh.
But the thing about guerrilla marketing is sometimes it's considered a little bit underhanded and sneaky.
Kind of the black hat type.
Yeah, bordering on it. Like flyers on cars might be considered a part of guerrilla marketing, but it's very much not well received. I hate flyers on my cars.
Yeah.
But flash mobs, that's funny.
I've only
Viral
seen those
marketing.
on TV, but I knew a lady that lived at one of the retirement centers, and a group of them would go down on the bus to Chico, which is the nearer bigger town, and go to the mall. And I understand they had flash mob dance and whatnot there, and all the old timers.
That's fun. Well, there are a lot of crazy things going on. And I guess my voice has just about had it for the
Yeah, it
recording.
sounds like.
So I will go ahead and wrap up the official broadcast, which was pretty close to our hour that we planned.
Yeah.
And just to wrap it up, there are things that you can do with YouTube videos that will be way more beneficial. Excuse me. How disgusting. So anyway, I think we'll wrap it up right now and talk more about it at a better time. But mainly the thing to understand is there are some basics, just like SEO. There are some basic YouTube things that are very, very important to do. They're not hard. It's not expensive. Has nothing to do with the video itself, but it has to do with how you process the video. And how you process the video can have a direct effect on your video and your website ranking and relevance and your search engine results on Google. So that's the main message for today, and I thank you for being here. And Barbara, as usual, thank you for being the faithful participant for me so I'm not sitting here by myself.
Oh, I was glad to be here too. I learned things.
Well, as we've talked about, you and Matthew showing up is a very important thing, and the fact that he takes notes lets me know that it's worth hearing and worth savoring a bit. So we'll see if we can keep on coming up with stuff that is of value like that.
Yeah.
How about we hang up from this and go ahead and talk to each other after I clear my throat?
Okay.
Okay,
All right. Give
talk
me
to
a jingle back when you're ready.
Okay, see you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.